This is Platinum Northwest TV News. In the headlines tonight, Executive Mayor Suzan Nthangeni engages the youth of Bojanala Platinum District, and the Northwest Provincial Treasury hosts a session on the MFMA Audit Cycle Readiness. Also here tonight, ANC Youth League is divided over the death of Sindiso Magaqa. Further ahead this evening, we hear from U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the Trump administration's U.S. AID cuts. And in the sports this evening, the 2025-26 PSL dates are confirmed. Good evening and a warm welcome to our viewers here in Klerksdorp and across the Northwest Province. I'm Boitumelo Monare. First, tonight, on Monday, the 30th of June, the Executive Mayor of Bojanala Platinum District Municipality, Councillor Suzan Nthangeni, together with mayors of the districts of 5 local municipalities, hosted a vibrant Youth Day event at the Ben Murray Hall in Rustenburg. Other stakeholders present at the event included the National Youth Development Agency, the IEC and the Department of Health, which took the opportunity to inform young people on how they could access sexual and reproductive health services, mental health support, and resources to address substance abuse. The event stood as a pillar of hope for the youth of the Bojanala Platinum District. This is amidst high unemployment rates, poverty, and limited access to education. Now, our team caught up with the Executive Mayor Suzan Nthangeni as she spoke on the district's long-term plan to address the high unemployment rate.
We have heard the voice of the young people. They are serious about our jobs, permanent jobs and sustainable jobs. They want something that is impactful. Now, our plan as a district is that we are going to be realistic. With our ailing economy, it's not possible to can create the permanent jobs that our young people need. Some of them, they do have qualifications without experience. Some of them, they don't have matric. Now, our plan as a district is to coordinate the national provincial government programs to local government through the district development model. And as the district municipality, we've also set aside the budget to intervene on unemployment and underdevelopment of our young people. We've set aside 10 million for creating temporary jobs. We aim to create more than 2,000 jobs across the district. And however, we have heard our young people, their voice is saying that they just don't need EPWP. They also need skill development. Now we're going back to the drawing table to ensure that each and every participant that we accommodate in the program must be able to get the necessary skills that they require. After 4 or 6 months program, when they exit the program, they must be having the certificates. Because honestly, the EPWP is not a permanent job, it's a temporary job. And our intention is the district municipality. We know that our young people have got needs. Some of them, they need to apply to get the jobs. Some of them, they need money, something to take care of themselves. Now, our intention with a bit of stipend is to assist them to empower themselves, making surveys, sending applications to different institutions, or applying for the university. Because some of the households, they are poverty-stricken. Some of them, they only survive on 350 grant or child support grant. Now, we know that is not enough. Now, this intervention is to at least assist our young people to, with a bit of stipend that they're getting, to can do whatever they want to do. We know it's not enough. Now, with the 10 million that we've set aside, we'll be creating temporary jobs, but we'll continue to coordinate national provincial government, the sectors, if we've spoken about them. Our local businesses and the mines, they need to intervene on creating jobs with the young people. All of us, our hands must be on deck to ensure that we create sustainable jobs to the youth league of the Bojanala District Municipality.
More provincial news. In efforts to better the reputation of municipalities, the Northwest Provincial Treasury hosted a stakeholder session on Municipal Finance Management Act Audit Cycle Readiness. This is ahead of the 2024-25 annual financial statement submission deadline set for the end of August this year. Key stakeholders, including National Treasury, were present at the event, which sought to enhance audit results and strengthen municipal compliance. The Northwest Provincial Treasury Head of Department Ndlela Kunene described the session as a key step towards changing the province's reputation for poor audit outcomes. Kunene called on municipalities to address root causes and meet regularly to drive progress towards clean audits. We turn to the story where the murder case of Sindiso Magaqa, the former Secretary General of the African National Congress Youth League, has caused tension within the league. Advocate Elvis Ngwenga made the statement when he presented his case before the Pietermaritzburg High Court on Monday during the sentencing of self-confessed murderer Zbusiso Ngwenga. Ngwenga confessed to his part in the murder earlier in June after spending 8 years behind bars awaiting trial. In the confession, he implicated a former mayor and manager from the Herigwala municipality and a journalist. Now, he is one of 4 men charged with the connection of the politically charged killing. Maganga was shot in July 2017 and died of his injuries weeks later. Now, with that, let's head into the international news. President Donald Trump's move to cut most of U.S. funding towards foreign humanitarian aid could cause more than 14 million additional deaths by 2030. That is according to research published in the Lancet Medical Journal. The research found that a third of those at risk of premature deaths are children. Earlier this year, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio defended President Trump's decision to cancel over 80% of all programs of the U.S. Agency for International Development. Rubio compared the United States humanitarian aid work to that of other countries, including China.
I will say this, even with the reforms we put in place and what we're suggesting is changes to our foreign aid, we still will provide more foreign aid, more humanitarian support than the next 10 countries combined, than the entire OECD, and far more than China. China doesn't do humanitarian aid. China does predatory lending. That's what Belt and Road Initiative is. That's what all of their aid. They have zero record of doing humanitarian aid in the world. And frankly, they don't know how to do it. They have no interest in doing it. What they're very good at is going into some country, making you a loan, and then holding that debt over your head. And that's what they continue doing. By the way, you have to hire a Chinese company to do it. So I don't agree with this assessment that there's no evidence whatsoever that China has either the capacity or the will to replace the U.S. in humanitarian assistance.
The research findings come as dozens of world leaders are meeting in the Spanish city of Seville this week for a United Nations-led aid conference. This is the biggest one in a decade. And let's now head into the business news. In the case against 4 former Transnet officials, the prosecution has stated that more investigations will be revealed when the court continues on October 6th. Former Transnet Chief Financial Officer Anoj Singh, former CEOs Brian Molefe and Siyabonga Gama, the former Engineering Chief Executive Thamsanqa Jiane, were each granted 50,000 rand bail by the Palm Ridge Specialized Commercial Crimes Court. They face charges including contravention of the Public Finance Management Act, fraud, corruption, and the Contravention of Companies Act. Investigating Directorate Against Corruption spokesperson Henry Mamudame shared these details with us.
The Palm Ridge Magistrates Court postponed the fraud and corruption case against Anoj Singh, Brian Molefe, Siyabonga Gama, and Thamsanqa Jiane to 6 October 2025 for further investigations. The 4 are facing 18 charges that include fraud, corruption, contravention of the Companies Act, and contravention of the PFMA. They were all granted 50,000 rands bail.
With that, we'll now wrap up with the sports update. The kickoff dates for the 2025-26 season have officially been confirmed, with the Premier Soccer League campaign scheduled to begin with the MTN 8 quarterfinals on the 1st of August. The MTN 8 will be the first domestic competition to commence, with Orlando Pirates aiming to secure their 4th consecutive title. The Betway Premiership season is scheduled to start approximately 1 week later, with fixture details to be announced in due course. Now, the draw for the quarterfinals, which was conducted shortly after the end of the 2024-25 season, has resulted in matchups including Mamelodi Sundowns going up against Richards Bay, Orlando Pirates versus Polokwane City, Stellenbosch FC versus Amazulu FC, and Sekhukhune United versus TS Galaxy. In more sports news, Eastern Province and Western Province secured key wins on day 1 of the FNB Under-18 Girls Week in Johannesburg, coinciding with the Springbok women's team presence. Top female rugby players gathered at the Queen's High School for the inaugural tournament, with the Springboks women's team supporting ahead of their tests against Canada. In the under-18 category, Eastern Province made an impressive start by securing 11 tries and accumulating 69 points against the Leopards, with winger Lukhanye Lolo contributing a hat trick. In the second fixture, Western Province secured a decisive 79-7 victory, registering 13 tries. Now, Azra Landor contributed a hat-trick in the 88-0 win over Leopards, with Danrika Johoma tallying 19 points. Furthermore, the Sharks, Boland, Eastern Province, Border District, SWD, and the Pumas successfully advanced through the initial round with respective victories. Alice Ncube scored 3 tries and made 6 conversions with a 62-0 victory over Falca. Well, that's it for tonight's top stories here on PNW TV News. I'll be back right here tomorrow night. Good night.